It's great to be here. We're going to have some fun talking about measurement and media networks. We'll do a quick intro. So we'll just go down the line. If you could just say who you are, although you have your name up there, and just say a little bit about what you do. We'll start here.
All right, Zach Darkow. I lead measurement, activation, and data partnerships at the Home Depot on both the advertising and publishing side.
Drew Frost. I lead our digital partnership marketing team for the Walgreens Advertising Group.
Hi, I'm Karen Rada. So I am a director of marketing science at Albertsons Media Collective, and we handle end-to-end campaign work for our CPG client partners.
Oh, wow. We got a cheering section. Awesome. One of my favorite expressions in the business is you can't manage what you can't measure. And I think that what we're going to talk about today is all about precision in measurement. And if you've spent any time over the past day and a half at sessions, measurement seems to be a very recurring theme. So I think it's incredibly timely. The way I like to do these is generally a jump ball. So I'm going to ask a question, and then whoever feels so inclined, just start speaking. And if anyone has a follow-on, we'll do that too. So we'll start with a reasonably simple one. What does precision mean to you in the context of measurement? Zach, why don't we just start?
Oh, jump ball. Got it.
It's a jump that I gave you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, precision. Maybe I'll rephrase the question to get started.
No, not acceptable.
Precision at scale when we think about retail media, just because the measurement needs to serve so many different partners, brands, suppliers. But then as I get into precision, I start to think of consistency, consistency of timeliness of the data, consistency of the methodology over time, so you can look at indices and benchmarks. Gosh, there's a lot I can go with precision. I think directional accuracy. I think we can all attest to various attributions can be flawed or challenged. So you have to have that directional accuracy and take that leap of faith that this is what I'm going to use to measure whatever the outcome is I'm trying to.
Could I do a quick follow-up? And we didn't review this, so don't yell at me. In that kind of 0 to 10, 10 being imprecise, 10 being super precise, where are we today in terms of precision? Go ahead. We'll follow up with you. Go ahead.
We are all over the board. It depends on if you're talking to a platform or even across retail media. I think that is why we're pushing for, there's more of a push for standardization with consistency and transparency being at the buzzwords of that standardization guidelines, because we are all over the place. There's a lot of different ways people are measuring, different look-back windows, different match rates.
Okay. Drew, what does precision mean to you?
So precision for me, like all of the retailers, we love acronyms. And when we talk precision, really what we're talking about is something we call art. Art is it accurate, is it actionable, is it reliable, and is it timely? In short, like really when we're digging into this is like, how do we make sure that we have underlying data quality that we can trust, that our brands can trust? And more importantly, like how fast can we actually get that to them? How fast can we get that to ourselves?
Got it. Taryn, what about you?
Yeah. So I think to me, precision means more than just on a singular campaign basis. So I think it's less about the performance you may see from a ROAS or iROAS perspective within one campaign, and more about what does that mean for your brand over time. And so it's linking together not just what happened at a point in time, but how you can continue to track over time. And I think that's where incrementality, the conversation is obviously shifting away from ROAS and more towards iROAS. And I think that's going to help us have more of that precise conversation around what does success actually look like.
Got it. So I've been in the business 30 years. We've been talking about measurement since I've been in the business, probably precedes me. And we're always getting better. It's kind of this elusive kind of unicorn that we never quite crack. Over the past 12 months, what are the biggest changes that we've seen in measurement? And we'll do a jump ball this time. Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I can start. So I think that the biggest change I've seen in the last 12 months is more around what else can we bring to enable more full funnel measurement beyond just what we're doing today as retail media networks. And I think a lot of that conversation is around what's happening in store and how can we link that with what we're doing from a digital landscape. And in store is closest to the point of sale. We know that there's so much that happens after somebody sees an ad, and whether it's in home, out of home, in store. And I think the biggest conversation is around how we can tie all of that measurement together.
Anyone else want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I'd say to build on that, I think one of the really the more interesting pieces that we're seeing right now is this evolution mindset into clean rooms, into API-based attribution connections as opposed to your standard pixels like we've done for the past 10 or 15 years. And with a privacy-first method that all retailers are leaning into, right? Really kind of pushing like what the boundary of that looks like, what everybody's brand's comfortable with, and like to Taryn's point, like what else can we actually get above and beyond just our standard like ROAS metrics?
Zach?
Yeah, no, I'll just piggyback on that. I think both great answers. I think within store, it is the full funnel. There's certainly a shift to newer platforms, connected television as well, reaching the consumer where the consumer is at, and then being able to measure those outcomes. Outcomes is another push I'm hoping is starting to come about, that it's not all about ROAS, it is about the outcomes you're trying to drive. A lot of times that's sales and incrementality, but it can be a gamut of things, and that's what we're pushing for, is to try and measure those various outcomes, things like leads, for our services business, and yeah, that's what I'd add.
Got it. So more data, I think everyone would agree, does not necessarily translate to better outcomes, because we're awash in a sea of data, and you need to separate the signal from the noise. So Taryn, we'll start with you. What are some best practices to do that, to separate the signal from the noise?
Yeah, and I think in order to separate the signal from the noise, I think a lot of it does have to do with your methodologies, and I think that's where we work closely with the IAB, David, your team, on kind of what does standardization look like. And so we hang our hat on our incrementality methodology, which it's publicly available. Happy to talk about the methodology, but we use the Bayesian time series analysis, which normalizes for historical performance and seasonality. And so having such a, what we consider rigorous methodology, enables us to actually tell our partners, this is truly incremental from the ad that you saw. And I think it's something that we really see as our North Star as we're trying to understand kind of where measurement can take our clients and be mutually beneficial across our relationship.
Any other best practices, or should we move on to the next question?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about transparency is where we're coming from. So we obviously recently launched our TransUnion partnership as well as MMM API access. And so that was all born out of our desire to not be afraid to be transparent with our data. And so we're giving our CPG advertiser partners access to daily level information, which we've heard from them based on their feedback that they were only receiving monthly or quarterly feeds. And so based on their feedback, we want to make sure that they see us as transparent as possible so that we are giving them the information they need to make an informed decision about how they're spending their media dollars.
Got it. Awesome. The one word that I think I've heard over and over again, and I've been to many ramp-ups, is collaboration. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what role does data collaboration play in the context of this conversation in terms of closed-loop reporting, precision measurement? Talk a little bit about that. Why don't we start here?
Yeah, I think it can play a big part. I think as we think about collaborating with platform partners, publishers, walled gardens, it gives us as a retailer the ability to kind of start to drive standardization across all of them, start to push various methodologies, get the transparency into the data and running those methodologies, and we're not stuck with just having to run whatever attribution is in their platform. And so I think there's a lot of flexibility that goes along with what we can do, and it's only going to lead to better measurement for us.
Got it. Drew, what about you?
I think when we say collaboration, it's, taking it a step further from Zach, really what we're talking about is collaboration from the onset. So from the moment that we've engaged with a supplier, with a brand, what are they looking to do? What are they looking to achieve? And then taking that with our media tools, then ultimately with our technical tools, and then ultimately with measurement too. So it's like step by step. And it sounds like this very complicated process that I'd say that most retailers, Walgreens included, like we've been able to get this down to a science, right? To where we can do this and we can pump these campaigns out at a speed that the marketplace expects. The other piece to this too that I just would say to call out just really, really important is that making sure that that first statement that you have of like, why are we doing this from a collaboration standpoint matches that last statement. And if it does, you're gonna have a successful campaign. If it doesn't, then I think Taryn and Zach can both tell you just made, a little bit of bumpy road.
Got it. We are 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. We have not talked about AI yet. So shame on us. We're going to talk about AI. CES, if you were at CES, every conversation was about AI. We had our IAB ALM a month ago. Lots of conversations about AI. There's been lots of conversations here. Talk a little bit. So there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of reality. Let's talk about what role does AI play. We got some smiling. So in driving precision measurement. Taryn, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, just to be fully transparent, I think that AI within measurement is fairly nascent at this point in time. I think, based on some partnerships that we have, we've been able to implement AI when it comes to creative and when it comes to campaign planning and optimizations. But there's still a lot to figure out when it comes to how AI can help us with measurement precision, because there is always, in the back of your head, a little bit of doubt of, is this what AI, is what the AI is giving back to me, is it accurate? Is it real? Is it true? And how are you going to train your AI agent from a measurement perspective? So I do think we haven't, as an industry, made a ton of progress when it comes to measurement quite yet. But when we do, because it is coming, we need to make sure that we're doing it right. And I think a lot of that can come to how we are standardizing across the industry.
Any other AI thoughts?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. The people here probably don't want to hear about AI because there's an AI thing going on right next door.
But our room is full.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think there's efficiencies in measurement that I think we're starting to see from AI, and simplifying some of the analyst tasks of writing SQL, which then leads to more consistency. So being able to take human language, type it in, say, give me the sales of X brand over the last X time series. We're seeing AI start to spit that out and start to spit that out in digestible formats or pretty decks. So I think there's some efficiencies that are coming right now with AI in the measurement space, but there's still a long way to go. And I'd love to check in on this question a year from now. I'm pretty sure I'd be talking completely different.
Market mix models, just on this topic of measurement, been used for a long, long time. If there's an area that I think has some low-hanging fruit, it's AI as it relates to MMM in near real time. Does anyone have any experience with MMM as it relates to AI? Not yet?
No.
Okay.
We'll
come back and
love where you're going, yeah.
Give us some time.
All right. Self-service versus managed service. I think the market has kind of been playing in both sides of the equation. What do you think the market wants today? And is there a difference between large advertisers, small advertisers? Who wants to take that?
I think I'll jump in.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think in essence, the market wants to have its cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is the market definitely wants to be self-service and have managed service options. I think one of the more interesting things at Walgreens, we actually started offsite. We started with self-service options, and then we moved into owned and operated, just based off where our consumer and our demand was. If I look at the marketplace today, what we're seeing across all of our brands, whether they're large or whether they're small, there are components that they're very, very comfortable and would like to have a self-service element to it. And there are other things that they are actively saying, you know what, retailer, we trust you. We want you to run this for us. We want this in your ecosystem. So it's very interesting and definitely kind of varies from brand to brand, buyer to buyer.
So no one size fits all.
Definitely not.
Taryn, you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Drew said. At Albertsons, we kind of had this tenet, buy the way that you want. And so like Drew said, they want their cake and they want to eat it too. So we offer both to our CPG advertiser partners, and we see both large and small CPGs coming to us wanting to do managed service because they want the white glove service that we're offering them from a campaign planning perspective down to our wrap reporting. But sometimes they just need efficiency in their budgets, and they see self-service as a way to really just get the most out of their dollars. So I think we want to make sure that we're serving our customers the way that they want to be served, and a lot of that has to do with giving them the option, because at the end of the day, it's going to grow in a mutual way for both of us, our businesses.
Got it. I'd like this next one, we'll have everyone answer, if that's okay. So can you share some of your secret sauce, special sauce, key points of differentiation? Why don't we start here?
Yeah, so Home Depot, it's pretty obvious home improvement. Our ability to mine our data, look at our data to understand which customers are pros or contractors, which are the DIYers, signals that can tell us and model against that. Are they a remodel? Are they in the middle of a project? Are they newly moved, or are they moving? So those are some of the things I think in the home improvement space that is what sets us apart, and our special sauce.
Got it. Drew?
Say mindset. And
Mindset?
yeah, very much. And again, very much building off of what Zach said. Walgreens, we're in the health and wellness space. And in that health and wellness space, we also have one of the largest loyalty programs out there. And that mindset has been we have the data, we're going to mine it correctly and collaboratively with you, and we're going to continue to achieve success mutually, right? That's ultimately if you ask why was this campaign successful? Because we went into it with the right mindset, both on the Walgreens side and on the supplier side.
Taryn?
Yeah, so I think our secret sauce really has to do with the voice of the customer and how we're partnering with our advertisers. And I think a great example of that is, I think everyone on the stage is relatively young in the retail media network space, and that allows us a lot of agility and flexibility where we know what parity looks like with some of the bigger retail media networks out there, but based on the voice of the customer, they want to partner with Albertsons because they can't get what we're offering in other places. So I think, hopefully you guys all saw earlier the Pinterest example of how we partnered with Pinterest on closed loop measurement. And that was a direct reflection of what our customers were asking us for. It wasn't something that was available everywhere else, but we wanted to, maybe sacrifice some of those parity offerings in order to kind of jump ahead and give them something that they weren't getting elsewhere, which is really rooted in voice of the customer.
Jump ball. Common misperception that you want to set the record straight?
Ooh, I'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, measurement's easy. It is very difficult. I don't know how many times, just pull this, run this query. No, it's very difficult. It requires a level of a skill set and experience with marketing. We deal with data quality issues. And to be good at it, it's really about taking that data and turning it into an insight or an action or a story. It's not about stating the facts. And so, the world is tough, and measurement is not easy.
I'm not sure many people would say measurement's easy, but
maybe
okay.
not in this room, but yeah.
Anyone else? Common misperception?
We'll jump in again. So I'd say my favorite is, without a doubt, it's as easy as putting a pixel on your site. For those in the room that are retailers, that's not that easy. For those of us that are not retailers, we work in such a legal and privacy-first centric manner with respect to our customers with their data. It is something that we take very seriously anytime we're sending data outbound. So as easy as it is to drop these two codes on the page, it requires an in-depth strategy for us to actually bring to life.
Got it. Taryn, anything?
Yeah, I would just say that I think one misperception is around like who gets measurement. So I think a lot of people tend to think that only large CPGs get measurement from retail media partners, but I think the smaller CPGs, emerging brands, there's a lot that they can get from us, and I think we need to make sure, at the collective we allow measurement across all of our partners, and there's very little that is put aside just for our larger partners. So
Got it.
measurement is available.
All right, let's take it up to 60,000 feet. So we're going to take it out of the measurement realm for a second. By some accounts, there's more than 250 commerce media networks in the US. It's been a huge growth area for us at the IAB over the past 2 or 3 years. Will they all survive? In 2 or 3 years, will we have more or less?
Yeah.
Taryn?
Yeah, I think there's going to be natural consolidation, or maybe some networks no longer existing. And I think what it comes down to is there are so many opportunities for advertisers to partner with these commerce networks, and what's going to stand out and what's going to survive is kind of those most robust offerings, and that means better measurement, high intent audiences, partnerships that you're offering in terms of like your soft skills and your relationships. And I think that you're probably going to see a few rise to the top, and there's only so much budget to go around, so consolidation is going to be natural within the space in the next 2 to 3 years.
But probably also we'll get whole new categories that will emerge, right? So within the categories that exist, we'll get consolidation, but as we were talking before, we'll get hospitality or airlines or financial services that might also grow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair to say? Okay, common challenges. We've talked about some common challenges. Greatest challenges to achieving clear and consistent measurement for the industry? Go.
For the industry.
Or for your business.
Yeah, maybe it's just consistency in data quality, in taxonomy. I think that's a big one. We have different platforms, different partners that are labeling columns or the campaign taxonomy names all differently, and we're having to translate that. Maybe AI will help us with this, create that efficiency, but that's what I'd say.
Got it. Future focused, next year, next 24 months, what's the big news? Where are we evolving? What's the story of 2025 in commerce media?
Not to purposely go back to AI, but AI, that to the point that retailers have used AI to figure out the next advanced MMM model would be the most ideal state.
Got it. I see the headline now.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, we have 2 final questions. This second to last one is one of my favorites. It's word association. So I'm going to throw out a couple of words. We're going to go up and down the aisle, and you're going to say the one word that comes immediately to mind. Okay? As quickly as we can. Attribution. Start here and go down the line.
Inconsistent.
We can be quicker. Okay, let's go.
There you go. It's complicated.
Table stakes.
Got it. Now we'll start with Taryn and come back. Clean room.
Privacy.
Customer-centric.
Collaboration.
That was 2 words. Privacy.
Hyphen.
Needed.
First.
Conscious.
Nice. Transparency.
Trust.
First.
Don't know.
Look back window.
Flexible.
Changed.
Cheating, but purchase cycle.
Reach and frequency.
Optimization.
Campaign.
Optimization.
Click-through rate.
Meh.
Yeah.
Engagement.
Incrementality.
Impact.
Growth.
Yes.
Okay, I give that a B+. That was pretty good. All right, last question. If we could give the audience one go-do as a result of our conversation today, what would it be? Taryn, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to give a very selfish go-do is make sure that you have the right people in conversations with your retail media partners, because I come from the world of analytics, and oftentimes my audience that I'm speaking to is shopper marketing or sales. And I think one thing that I want to make sure is really driving us is having the right people to have the right conversation. So get your analytics people in the room with my team, and what we can build together is going to be greater than the sum of their parts. So make sure that you're bringing your experts to the table to speak to our experts, and I want to see that more in the next multiple years in the industry.
Got it. Drew, what's the go-do?
Is to actually go do. What I mean by that is, one of the things that we've seen in retail media is this idea that we want to scale very fast, right? But it's also, we also don't want to necessarily admit our faults or, take a step back when we need to. So go do with your retail partners, be there with us, be willing to explore, be willing to fail fast, be willing to make those decisions, and collaborate, if I could say that in one word.
Love that. Zach, the final word.
Yeah, my answer already was taken, but so I'll do a couple. I'll say, I agree with Taryn. Bring your measurement and your insights partners along at the start. The more they know about your strategy, how you're planning, the decisions you're making at the upfront, the better they'll be throughout the marketing lifecycle, optimization, and reporting out, and then that vicious cycle back. Familiarize yourself with the IAB measurement standards. It's a long read, but there's so much in there, and it just helps educate if you're not up to verse on all the different ways of measurement and these buzzwords you're hearing. I would say do that. And the last one real quick would be go hug your measurement partner. Again, it's not easy. Take care of them. Yeah, I'll get you.
We'll pay you on the mentioning the IAB measurement standards. Thank you for mentioning that. Thank you all for paying attention. Thank you to our panelists. Have a great rest of the ramp up. Appreciate it.